If you've ever purchased a new to you vehicle and you get underneath to do that first oil change only to realize you need a 10mm socket to take off a plate that's in the way to get to the oil filter or the drain plug, had enough of that because you've already lost your 10mm, so you needed to trade the vehicle in for another one that doesn't require that, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back to another oil change tutorial. Today we got a 2013 Toyota Highlander with a 3.5 liter V6. Without further ado, let's get to it. First step you want to do after you get it on ramps, go ahead and pop the hood, come in here. Hood release latch is located right here. And then you're gonna push it to the left, put it up, you got a hood prop, I'll show you that in a second. After you get your hood up and the prop placed in its spot, you're gonna go ahead and take this fill cap off. It's gonna be using 0W20 today as well. We're gonna set that to the side, that way it has enough to breathe when we pop drain plug and oil filter off. Next step, grab your tools, we're heading underneath. One of the other tools you're gonna need is this oil filter wrench. It is special for the oil filter housing that is on these vehicles. It's also for a Lexus and a Scion. I got this at AutoZone. It was like 11 bucks, so it's not too bad. I'm sure you can use just a normal wrench, but this just has those teeth in the side, so it kind of grips onto the housing a little easier. For the oil drain plug, you got either a 9/16 or a 14mm. The 14 is a lot more snug. So after you get it broken free, go ahead and take it off. Make sure you got your pan in line, ready to go. Put a little pressure against the drain plug here so that it doesn't fight you too bad and drip everywhere. And when you're ready, just pull away. So while that's draining, we're gonna get this oil filter housing cover plate off. And folks, I didn't even realize this until now when I was talking about the 10mm, but yeah, you're gonna hate me because this is one of those vehicles. So you need a 10mm to take these two off, and then the plate kind of drops out of the way. You can set it to the side, so let's do that real quick. So after you get the plate off, those two 10mm bolts, your housing is right there. Now this does have this is a drain spout, so you can drain all the oil out of the filter housing, and it comes with, usually the new filter will come with like a little plastic pin that you push up in there and it drains straight out. So today the oil filter we're going to be using is a Mobil 1 M1C-251A. It is a drop-in style housing, so you gotta drop this into the new housing, but it will come with new O-rings, some instructions, and this little tool. So a good set of instructions here. A lot of brands don't offer this, so that's nice. So, and I'll show you how to do this. So we're just going to release that on figure 1. We're going to put in this little plastic piece over there, and then it'll drain out. And once it's done draining, we can take off the entire housing with our new filter wrench. So after the oil pan is done draining out, go ahead and put this back in, wipe it off first and the areas just so that there's no contaminants in the way. Do not over tighten this. You don't need to, it just needs to be nice and snug until so you don't have a leak. Now we're going to remove this. This is a 3/8 drive insert, so you can just take, if you use a 3/8 ratchet, you're good to go. Just get an extension so you can fit it up past here, and we'll loosen this off real quick. So this is a problem that can occur. The center plate ends up getting corroded or rusted, however, and it seals itself to this housing. So you end up, when you go to loosen it, this happens. Your whole housing decides to come off it together. So as I said, you're gonna get a little messy, but that's what the gloves are for. So you got your filter drop-in housing and the O-rings, and we're gonna get this cleaned up and I'll show you how to reapply it. All right, folks, so now you got your housing off. This was the incorrect way of doing it. So just wipe this off really good. Get all the oil and what have you. And clean the inside a little bit here. Normally, this is supposed to come off from this housing, and you do replace a gasket in this, so that it doesn't leak from there. After you pull this off, loosen this off and remove the gasket, you have this piece, and that will plug in to that space, release a valve, and then the oil will pour out this tip into your pan. And then when it's done draining, you can take your oil housing wrench and it slides over top, fitting around these grooves so that it locks on, and then you can twist this all off. Mine is completely seized on. It wasn't leaking at all from this spot, so I'm just gonna leave it. I've tried to sit there and pry this off already, and it's not gonna happen. So we're gonna replace this O-ring and put the new housing in, or the new filter in, and send her on her way. I have done a couple other Toyotas with this, and that is the same issue I've ran into every time. I can undo this entire housing by just using this 3/8 drive spot. This never has come off for me, and I've serviced about 6 Toyotas so far. So that's an issue. So don't freak out if you can't get this off. If you got a vise, maybe put this in the vise and then get this off so you can do the O-ring on this. I'm not worried about it. This client will not have it leak because this O-ring is still sealed and in place. So I'm not going to worry about it. This O-ring though, we will replace. So let's get to that. So to get your old O-ring off this housing, I kind of just pinch on each side and push down until I get this little lip. And you can grab it, pull it off, throw that one away. Got your new one. You're gonna wanna, you can take the old oil, new oil. I like to use new oil as much as I can, but I'm already doing this, so I'm not gonna break it open right this second. So then you want to line it up in that groove right here, the biggest opening. Just kind of walk it around, and there you go. New O-ring's good. Let's drop the filter on. It's as simple as just sliding it over the middle part there and popping it down. There you go, and that's in. We can screw this back into the spot. All right, folks, so there's the inside of the housing. Just take your rags and wipe the inside just a little bit. Get rid of that excess oil. And now we can take our new filter, slide that up in there. So you don't want to cross thread this, so you want to back it up, loosen until you get to a point that feels like it did that click, so that it drops into the right thread pitch, and then you can tighten this back down. Take your 3/8 drive, put it to tighten with your extension, and just go ahead and tighten this back down. You can use the, and there it just stopped. So give this a little extra tighten, and then that'll be it. So this is the wrench that really you do need for this, if you could actually remove this bottom part. Just wanted to show you. So it's got the teeth. You line it up with one of those spots. Come on, there we go. Now it's on. And this is a 1/2-inch drive, so then you'd be able to loosen the whole housing. I could have done it that way too, but I was trying to get that at first. Anyway, hope you folks have better luck with this part and actually removing this piece and replacing the O-ring, unlike me. But this tool will come in handy. So now you're going to want to replace your cover with the pesky 10mm. So after you get those 10mm screws put back in, the little tabs on this side go in first, and you're good to go. Let's go topside, fill up the oil. Today we're going to be using 6.5 quarts of OW20. I had this one as an extra, so we're just going to top a half of this quart off with that, and then put these the 5 and the 1 in, make our 6.5. Make sure you grab your favorite oil funnel. Just a nice, steady, even pour. Like I said, we'll put in 6.5 quarts. So after you get that all filled, let's put the cap back on. I'll close the hood, and then I'll show you how to do the oil reset. So once you come inside, you're gonna go ahead and put it into auxiliary. I'll push it twice there to get it into the auxiliary mode. So you got your little maintenance screen up there and it says maintenance required. You're gonna come into the center. There's a little peg down here that you're gonna hit, and you're gonna switch the odometer to trip A. So then do that. We're gonna turn off the car. So we'll hit this again. Turn it off, and now you have to hold that pin while you get it back into maintenance mode. So, and now as you do that, it resets the maintenance, and then it said complete, and now you should be good to go. You just got to make sure you're holding that peg down while if you have a push start, click it twice and it brings it back into that mode. If you have your turn key, you'll just put it to auxiliary. Don't start it, just put it to the auxiliary. Let's get it backed off the ramps and call it a day.